I am Jakob Butturff, and this is the 2018 PBA Coldwater Open. Bowling against Tom Daugherty in the title match. Tom bowled phenomenal all weekend. They were definitely hard. Coldwater is a pretty difficult house. No matter what you put out, cut's always gonna be minus. They even have the tractors out there on the lanes. Daugherty just came off bowling an amazing game against Brad Angelo as well. Brad bowled phenomenal. Rhino Page, I believe, finished fourth.
Here we go. Craig Elliott, Richie Teese. We're going to watch
16 lane center too.
For the title here at Playmore Lanes in Coldwater, Ohio. The 11th Kenn-Feld Classic. And a matchup of our final match in qualifying, or final game of qualifying just a little while ago. These two players flip-flopped the 1 and 2 seeds. And Tom Daugherty, as we mentioned a little bit ago,
definitely one of those weeks that if you could put it, or one of those weekends, you could put a good string of strikes together and stay clean. It was a phenomenal weekend.
No, definitely not. Does make you feel better.
No, because I can imagine Tom working.
Already makes the spare.
So Richie, we saw Tom.
Basically, my mindset going in was just try to find a way to outbowl him. Didn't matter if it was spares or strikes, just try to outbowl him.
Do that here with Jacob, because Jacob's he strikes a lot.
He does. I think they're just going to have to both play their own games right now. I think Tom was a little timid that first shot.
Oh, Pierre, the first one.
Jacob striking, that's a shock.
During practice, I tried to carve a little bit of a spot, I would say. Just that way I can get that one game and find something to throw it to, because they were so tricky and so flat.
Have you seen his layout before?
Yeah, I have.
Pretty funky. But he makes it work.
Yeah.
I actually bowled in the round of 8. I bowled 260 to pass Daugherty for the top seed as well.
It's just that uniqueness. It's like the same thing with Belma with the two hands. It's just the way it is.
I mean, you can't argue with the resume. 18 regional titles, 3 national titles, a World Cup last year. I mean, that's in 3 years.
And right there, snapped 7.
Oh yes.
Already got a little bit of a cushion, especially with when they're hard.
I think it's going to take 237 or more.
So you see, like, if you got it probably about 2 boards outside of that, it wasn't even hitting the head pin. They were definitely tricky.
See, they shook hands and a little hug to start there, but after that strike, Jacob just walked right back with a scowl. He didn't look at Tom. I like that, because Jacob's happy-go-lucky.
He is. Good friend of mine.
Daugherty
It's a good shot.
just dead flushed it. I believe he started off his qualifying block a little rough, but then really started to get it going. And then I believe it was the Cashers round where he shot 260, 260 back to back to jump to a lot ahead of second place. And at that point, it was just trying to make the TV show, and then was able to make up some ground. Daugherty had a couple rough games, and he was able to catch him with the double in the 10th, the last game, to jump the top seed.
Try to play the same part of the lane.
Correct. I just think this left lane hooks later down lane. It's not necessarily earlier. I think it's more later. See, not happy with something right there.
I'm not sure if 237. That's a big number, but I think it's just gonna be who carries the corners. I don't see any big 4s or 210s in this match.
Rep Mike Snailbaker in the back. Doing a lot of help this week with the Heavenite guys. See, it got just a hair outside, and it didn't even think about coming back.
I honestly think he should go to what he did in that field ball earlier, where that ball came off of it when he was more further in. I think he's trying to look for earlier hook on that left lane to try and get it to stand up in front of the 1-3, but I just think there's too much of a puddle around where he is.
And anytime you give it the pocket away here, anything can happen, right?
Correct. I think he's going to probably have a sit down. Probably, me personally, I would make that move, unless he just threw those 2 shots really bad. But he's down there for a reason, and I'm sat here for a reason.
Well, he still had a pretty solid week.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Take a top 12 finish.
Also, bowling center is in the middle of absolute nowhere too.
Force Tom Daugherty to try something.
So we got that.
237.
Also, one of those weekends where you were just trying to cram on the finger holes, but still trying not to make your ball overhook.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Almost identical to the first frame.
It's real early in this title match, but you remember in Maine, if you shoot 300, you get a brick. How about if you shoot 300 here, you get the tractor?
That'd be that'd be awesome.
You got to drive it home, and it's a long drive to Arizona or Florida for one of these players.
So got definitely more cushion on Daugherty.
Ooh, but I actually don't know what they offer.
At this point, it's like if you could just put together a 5-bagger to start, it was phenomenal.
Lifelong
Got away
adoration.
with this one
Front four,
and
Jakob Butturff,
got the
5 goes
little
late.
tickler out there.
And you know Tom watches that, and he doesn't like it either. There's a very nice carry for Jake Butturff. The ball is already heading up the ball return, and the 5-pin's still spinning around. Something comes off the sideboard.
Yeah, that was about a board outside my last shot in that lane, and it was tickling the 5-pin.
It's been a little firm, but there's enough rope rate to get it back from where he needed to. See, I think Tom's got this.
Daugherty snapped
This
10.
left lane, I think
He was running a track Mako and it was one of his favorite balls. He's probably got 1,000 games on that. I've been throwing my trusty purple hammer all weekend.
too early. Could be reading the lane way
It's like
too quickly.
11 to 9, so fairly direct.
Still sticking with the same ball.
So he missed the last 2 shots in this lane. I knew Daugherty was probably going to find a way to strike this shot and just 10 back.
Yeah, that was about an arrow left all the way down lane of the last shot, and 10 back is what he needed to do. We got a match.
Yeah, he's moved left and got it. I think he's got his hand around it.
And it was it was going to be a tough match because
Previous shot.
Daugherty bowled so well, and we were through 9 shots and only missed twice between the 2 of us. This shot got a little way with it in wrap 7.
That's the only thing.
Definitely frustrated because if I shot 300, I was going to win myself a tractor, but
Jacob also with a
wrap
second
7 derailed that.
this year to go along with his win in Indianapolis. And give a shout out to his mom, Bridget Miller, as well, who's been battling a lot of health issues the last couple of years. And Jacob just says he likes to keep winning for her, and she's out there watching now. So that one's for you, Mom, if you can pull this one off.
He was unsure about that one.
You know, he's a
Another
really good
another interesting thing, I started this tournament
He missed 2 singles.
with 65 in the 5th frame of game 1 of qualifying, and I missed
Yeah,
a 7-pin and a 3-pin.
commented about it last night.
So, and then I was able to actually shoot 190 that game with a 4-bagger in there.
Funny you saying that.
Name of the game all weekend was Make Your Spares. In the first 5 frame, I was looking like a amateur bowler out there.
Yeah, in the middle of the game. Yeah, he said his spare shooting hadn't been so great. But when you strike that much.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough thing you think about that. You're in position so many times to win. There's going to be those times when
Got a little way with that
doesn't
shot.
like that because you're there so often.
Correct.
You know, it's not something that we know that feeling of quite so much as Jacob, because he's in that winner circle so much lately, and a nice bounce back there. Leaves a 7, makes it.
Lots of guys actually on the weekend use a little bit of surface just so they can get their ball to slow down before it got to the pocket.
Yeah. That'd be a phenomenal game this time.
And Daugherty snaps the 10 on this shot.
This could get interesting.
I knew going in the match, Daugherty had a phenomenal look in in the first match against Brad.
Wrong with that.
I knew he had a really good look on the right lane, but
Yeah, on this left lane.
my look on the left lane was phenomenal. So
In, he's just gets the same
it was going to come down to whoever can finish the 10th frame if it was to come to that scenario. Daugherty throws another good shot and flat 10.
I think the scores have naturally got higher in this from last year here.
He didn't like it.
From last year here, because I think everyone's got a little bit.
I think he just got just perfectly steep with missing in the middle, to where he was still able to keep his ball in line.
See Tom bringing such a ball that's been used so much.
Well, and you come here more
One
often
thing
than
that
you
Daugherty
realize,
actually
you
does
got a
use
ball
is
in
that,
the 30, right? So
you know,
that's
he's a no thumber, but he uses
got a-
his thumb hole
you just can
actually on all of his bowling balls as as balance on his wrist. So with the new weight hole rule, or the new rule,
Exactly what, you know. What
that's why
other-
Daugherty's been experimenting
two
with
spare balls.
bowling balls with only 2 fingers in them.
Oh, yeah, urethane with the shoes around the neck.
And this shot I just threw out the door and,
Uh-oh.
you know, washed out, and I just got overly aggressive on that one.
That just seemed a little rushed.
Yeah, looks like you're making the motion like you kind of missed it a little bit too.
You know, threw it hard and
Out to
About-
yeah.
2-3 boards outside the target, and
He just seemed to throw that one, you know.
yeah, it had no prayer.
Well, we're going to test his spare shooting now. It's just tougher there with that 9-pin back there.
Looks like he's going to go straight at it too.
Head pin took a little
So
beat,
missed
but
on that lane,
seven
and
out. Watch this replay.
right now I'm actually getting a little bit
Hit it.
overwhelmed and overthinking it because of the fact that Daugherty's throwing his next shot on his good lane.
He's next 4 for my prediction.
If this is 236, 237, then you get my job. It's yours.
I'll see everyone at the full swing.
Better regroup.
This shot I didn't think was terrible, and
And that one's not quite
Just-
good either.
No. He,
maybe a little bit fast, but
makes a little tied down lane.
it was good shot and it just never
It's
hooked.
just him doing it to himself. He got a bunch of the practice shots now. You know.
So now missing 2 shots, it's like Daugherty's gonna step up and
His own will be there.
try to put the strikes in the 8th and 9th
I think the
to
line has been a
put the
little bit
pressure
faster
on.
the whole week for the left-handers this week. I think.
So at this point, it's like try to find strikes and make your spares.
I think it might have been on 110. I can't remember. I think he had like 130.
And anything that had a double wood in it this weekend was your worst nightmare.
I just think that left lane's just hanging up on him a little bit. The last shot on there, he kind of swished the strike with the 5-pin.
So now I'm just kind of watching the back, and I'm like, no, Daugherty's probably gonna find or throw a couple good shots.
Big shot here for Tom.
I thought he threw this one phenomenal, and he left the bucket.
Had a chance to take lead, and he doesn't.
I think he thought it was good too.
Wow.
The whole really there, yep. I thought it was making it off it.
Everybody was like, ball stayed on line, and it just never even thought about hooking. So now, not only that, he loses count and on the spare, and all of a sudden I found myself leading it even if he makes a spare. And he ends up missing it.
You just don't know whether to run the risk of hooking at that, especially in the title match.
Had Tom always go straight at this.
So now with that, it's like I've got definitely a little bit of leeway and cushion.
224 max score now for Daugherty.
A little swipe at the foul line. So now Daugherty's got to find a way to strike on
Phone went off right in his
the
lap.
left lane and light 5-pin. Guy shouted, actually shouted in the audience. He's
Sorta
like,
that one.
need it before he threw the shot. And Tom, after the shot, goes, I know I needed it.
Ground. No hands going up for this.
And
For this bit.
let's go of it. And oh no, missed it.
Oh.
One of those times I wish I was holding my hand up.
Did I black cloud him?
Wasn't me.
My bad. Please
And
don't
Daugherty,
blame me.
I know I've watched Daugherty numerous times, and I know he's a phenomenal spare shooter. But
Down towards the end, he's
as he just
he's
proved,
got-
like even a 5-pin
it's just mental.
was pretty difficult this weekend.
2-3 max score, and now it's Butcher's tournament right here. Victory lap opportunity for.
So in the last 4 shots between Daugherty and I, we have 1 mark
Ohio.
after starting the match.
Four, the magic
Like we
number.
were gonna bowl 270, 270.
Clean, he's 2 teens.
Definitely got away with this shot and was able to get the swisher out.
237.
I still can't believe it. Oh, it's such a shame for Tom. Not the two greatest of frames he wanted.
So now, just knowing I need 9 to shut Daugherty out.
I can't believe I call this.
Oh, he makes that. It's still max 214. You know, he was going to need some help.
Yeah.
That doesn't make
Trying
it
to take a little extra time.
any better. You still don't want to go open in the 8th and 9th when you get a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, you don't want to leave the tournament doing that.
And this shot I just dead yanked in.
Prediction was wrong.
2.478 was the absolute death this past weekend.
He needs to make this, I think.
Yes.
It was just absolute dead right off my hand.
Oh no, 6'3" is 185.
And I had
205, right?
I knew
204.
in a pressure situation, if I threw straight, I could have chopped it. I could have. So just try to find a way to get in that spot to hook at it.
Looks like he's gone for.
And I was able to spare it.
We have
We have a winner. Yeah, that's
A
what
winner.
I think. We're all just everybody here is doing the math 3 times to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, max score for Daugherty 203.
2-0.
That's already 207.
Finishing, winning title number 4 in dramatic fashion.
Second title this year for Jake Butturff, and it comes right here in Coldwater, Ohio, at the Kenn-Feld Classic.
Gotta show that.